Hello, welcome to News Central Television. I am Benga Bora. These are the top stories at this hour. All Progressives Congress tells Rivers State Governor Maimalari Military to resign or be impeached. Kirawa terrorists killed 13, burned 7 villages in latest Kebbi attack. Morocco and France signed joint agreement to tackle terrorism and organized crime. We'll bring you the details shortly. And let's begin by telling you that the People's Democratic Party and the Rivers State Government on Monday condemned calls by a faction of the All Progressive Congress for Governor Maimalari Military to resign or face impeachment. In response, Military declared that he would not be intimidated by those attempting to destabilize governance through political crisis. The governor also warned against any unlawful actions and reaffirmed his commitment to maintaining peace and stability in the state. Now, away from that, the reinstated Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, has refuted allegations that he was outside Nigeria when members served notice for his removal. In an affidavit application filed by his legal counsel, Obasa not only challenges the validity of his removal as Speaker, but also levels accusations of fraudulent conduct against the Deputy Speaker. News Central's Igbalamiye Omoni has this report.
In a further affidavit filed by his counsel Afolabi Fashanu SAN, the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, claimed he was in Lagos between January 8 and 10, 2025, and that the House of Assembly sitting on January 13, 2025 was unconstitutional. The affidavit alleged that the notice of the meeting was backdated to conceal the unlawful convening and sitting of the House.
Sir, but this matter is expected ought to have been, ended, ought to have ended.
Yeah, it could have been ended because of inflow of new applications and reactions from all council. It's in response to their affidavit. They alleged that at the time the impeachment was done, the Speaker was in the country, and we have to bring evidence that at that time he was in the country, and there was no reason why he should not be served.
Femi Falana, SAN, representing the House of Assembly, and Tayo Oyetibo, SAN, representing Deputy Speaker Mojisola Miranda, have requested additional time to respond to Obasa's claims, which include allegations of fraud against Miranda. Meanwhile, the ongoing debate regarding which council should represent the first defendant, which is the Lagos State Assembly, continues to linger.
I have been briefed. My colleagues in the team have been briefed properly and adequately. And we are carrying out the instructions of our client. It is not the law that the plaintiff will choose lawyers for the defendant. It's not our law.
So that is confirmed that the Speaker Obasa is the one that drafted the inquiry.
I haven't said that. The man who is purporting to debrief us says that he has been directed. So he could not have directed himself. Thank you.
So, sir, is it right to say that you are now representing the Lagos State Assembly and
No, in principle I am, but the council has not been changed. The change of council has not been done officially.
So you are coming as incoming council?
I'm coming as incoming to the Lagos State House of Assembly. Obasa is the claimant.
He's the claimant. So is it right to also say that Obasa is the one that employed your services? Sir?
No. My services have been employed by Lagos State Assembly.
Lagos State.
If they are the same, Obasa would not have sued Lagos State House of Assembly at the initial stage. If they are the same entities, are you with me? Lagos State House of Assembly is a juristic person on its own. Obasa is a juristic person on his own. Obasa came to court, sued the Lagos State House of Assembly, and now sued Miranda. The Lagos State House of Assembly, in their wisdom, I don't know what they did, decided to change their counsel, which they have a right to do.
Justice Yetunde Pihero has granted an adjournment until March 17th to allow the hearing of all applications, including the substantive action, in the interest of justice. In Lagos 4 News Central, Igbalani Omani.
The Supreme Court of Nigeria has reserved judgment on an appeal filed by Samuel Anyanwu, the embattled National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, challenging his removal from office. Anyanwu is contesting the December 20, 2024 ruling by the Federal High Court, which was upheld by the Court of Appeal in Enugu, recognizing Sunday Odeokoye as the PDP National Secretary. He argues that the lower court lacks jurisdiction over the internal party matter, insisting that party leadership disputes are not justiciable. He also contends that due process was not followed, as the mandatory internal dispute resolution mechanisms were not exhausted before the case was filed. Let's also tell you that a former governorship candidate in Delta State, Great Umaru, has officially returned to the All Progressive Congress, APC, after contesting the 2023 election under the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA. Umaru was welcomed back to the party at a ceremony in Ughelli, Delta State. Speaking at the event, Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, expressed confidence that the APC will take control of Delta State in the next election, predicting that the defeat of the People's Democratic Party. Umaru, in his remarks, expressed joy at rejoining the APC, stating that the party has already begun addressing internal divisions to strengthen its state chapter. Despite his return, the Delta APC remains fragmented into several factions. Notably absent from the event was Senator Ovie Omoagege, the party's 2023 governorship candidate and former Deputy Senate President, as well as key party stakeholders.
He worked against the party. He said he betrayed candidate.
Pastor, well done.
Syria betrayed. Now opposition party with that. Now opposition party with that.
No. Pastor,
he
well
said
done.
he betrayed candidate. Wait, make my wait first. After you don't confess finish, first the way we tell you they turn PDP apologies. That's why we 12 local governments at time. You manage which for? You question people betray you. Who betray you? Who? You work against yourself, you say people betray you. Today, opposition ranks gone big, you don't swear. And in the name of Jesus Christ, 2027, PDP reform.
Well, that's the purpose of the Reconciliation Committee. You've got to put yourself forward before the Reconciliation Committee and make your case to be heard. And I'm sure that the College of Leaders or the collegiate leadership, in their wisdom, will take all the issues into consideration and will come to an informed decision. The purpose of all of this is to make the party stronger, not to weaken it. So the more the merrier. If there are people who agree, we want them to drop their grievances, but they should follow the proper channels to make sure that we address the issues properly.
In the meantime, the Delta State Government has launched a feedback initiative called a Global Response to enable residents to assess and evaluate the government's performance based on the experiences. Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, Charles Anyanwu, announced this at a press briefing in the state capital, Asaba. Anyanwu, who was joined by the governor's chief press secretary, Festus Ahon, stated that Governor Sheriff Oboeveri is making significant progress across all sectors of the state's development and remains focused despite criticism from detractors.
Now, the heading of this briefing today is to launch what we now call a global response, so that our response now has gone beyond what we thought we knew alone to what our people are already experiencing. And so when we got to Warri in the course of last week, and we're working with the governor, inspecting a number of projects, our brothers and sisters in Warri were very magnanimous in giving us what should become our global response to anybody who decides to paint such pictures. And it is very, very clear in what they said. In their words, Governor Sheriff, they show workings. The response is not be chaw, chaw, chaw.
The Senate has ruled out any possibility of reversing the 6-month suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan representing Kogi Central. Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramodu reaffirmed that the Red Chamber will not bow to external pressures and would uphold its rules. Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan was suspended on the 6th of March 2025 for breaching Senate standing orders during a confrontation with Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Akpabio has questioned the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court to hear Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's challenge, arguing that Senate matters should be handled internally. The case has been adjourned until the 25th of March 2025. Meanwhile, a group from Akwa Ibom State has criticized former Senate President Bukola Saraki for weighing in on the dispute, accusing him of undermining the Senate's authority. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has inaugurated the National Youth Conference Planning Committee at the State House in Abuja. President Tinubu, during the inauguration ceremony, urged Nigerian youths to leverage the opportunity the conference will provide to contribute their quota to national development. News Central's Abuja Bureau Chief Amadin Uyi reports.
In attendance were representatives of youth groups, several cabinet ministers, including the Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, and other high-level government representatives. Olawande lauded the president for the upcoming confab, saying it will give the youth an opportunity to contribute their quota to governance, while the executive director of the Yaga Africa commended the president for initiatives and policies put in place to uplift the well-being of Nigerian youths and the nation.
This conference will also give the youth the opportunity to contribute to government, policy, and programs to shape the future of this country.
We accept to be part of this because we believe that you're one who has the courage. You've taken bold actions in fixing our economy, some decisions that comes to a large extent with great consequences, but you have actually shown that you can make and take bold decisions.
President Bola Tinubu urged youth to leverage the opportunity the upcoming confab will present.
Prices are falling, confidence in our economy is improving, investors are looking in, technology is advancing. You have the great opportunity of advancing the development of this country. It's all in your hands.
He assured that he will put in his best for the country, but asked for partnership with Nigerian youths.
We will do everything possible to make Nigeria a better place for you. But we can't do it alone. You represent over 60% of our population, and I hope you take this opportunity very seriously. I am with you. I repeat again. I therefore inaugurate the committee. Wish you a very, very successful period.
The confab is expected to provide an opportunity for youths in the country to chart a way forward for the nation and contribute to national development. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Nigeria's Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, says under his watch, contractors who fail to execute projects according to specifications and timeline will be sanctioned. The minister was in Abia State to inspect the level of work done so far on the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway by Aba Access. News Central's Chinwe Ugele reports.
Penalty for substandard work is for the person to repeat it. And then penalty for delays is called liquidated damages. You know, I think it's 1% of uncompleted work. When you don't complete your work at the time you should, then you pay 1% of that cost to the federal government.
The road contract from Enugu to Port Harcourt is being executed by different contractors, while the Umaru section of the contract has long been completed. That of Aba to Port Harcourt is yet to be done.
It's only about 2 kilometers of earthwork that is left, and about, say, 4 kilometers of asphalt work, and we'll be done with this.
Despite this, the Minister of Works, David Umaru, during an inspection expresses optimism that the project will be handed over in 3 months.
I must commission it by June. So I've told them that by the end of April, everything about earthwork and stone base must be completed. Must be completed, and they have it fully primed.
He is particularly happy with the quality of work being done by the contractor. He says Aba deserves good infrastructure to boost its commercial status, adding that there are other projects of the federal government ongoing in parts of the southeast region.
They are not part of the contractors giving us trouble. They are very amenable to receiving instructions and obeying instructions. Very happy with them. When the federal government gets it right in Southeast, we should rise to appreciate them. There are so many projects that the president is doing, just like in other regions, that is being done in Southeast. So we're supposed to appreciate Mr. President deeply, because he's doing what no any other president did for us.
The people say the road project, though yet to be completed, has changed the face of the area.
Very fantastic. We have suffered a lot in this road, but thank God for the government of today. They have made everything possible for us. This road before it has been on a very, very rough, but now, as the government look eyes through this place is very, very nice.
Some are, however, disappointed at the delay in the completion of the road project.
By now,
having endured years of deplorable conditions on this road, the people cannot wait to see this road in its completed state. In Omaha for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
You're watching news now on News Central Television. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, Nigerian army troops rescue 75 civilians from Sambisa forest. We bring you details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. Insecurity remains a major challenge in Anambra State, with rising cases of kidnappings, ritual killings, and other violent crimes. Seeking solutions to this crisis, the League of Anambra Professionals, LAP, conveyed a lecture series in Lagos to discuss the way forward. The event focused on the causes of insecurity and the state government's response, particularly the newly introduced Anambra State Homeland Security Law 2025. News Central's lead correspondent, Bernard Akede, has more.
For many Anambra indigents, both at home and in the diaspora, the worsening insecurity in the state is a growing concern. With violent crimes on rise, citizens are demanding stronger measures to restore safety. At the inauguration of its new executives in Lagos, the League of Anambra Professionals used the occasion to spotlight the security challenges and explore possible solutions. Themed Technology and Innovation in Security Management, the Future of Policing in Anambra State, the lecture examined not just technological advancement, but also the role of moral values in shaping security outcomes.
This government is poised to change the dynamics in Anambra State, to change the bad name that Anambra has been getting with its security problems. And because of that, we, the League of Anambra Professionals, are following through to the programs that the governor has instituted.
So underlying our security challenges in Nigeria today is a moral crisis. And I believe that the Anambra State Government got it right when it decided by law to deal with the moral issues before us. So the tenants registration law, the hotel and lodging registration are requirements that makes it possible for us to remove the veil of anonymity so that we can see the individual.
The Anambra State Homeland Security Law 2025, introduced by the state governor, was the major focus of discussion. The law is seen as a strategic framework that could serve as a model for tackling insecurity beyond Anambra.
Within that range, I think if you can have a law that can be able to stop some negativities that is going on social media that will help the state to sustain whatever we are doing, and also to engage the communities, getting the communities to be involved, because these things happen in communities. There is no a vacuum.
Beyond government efforts, speakers at the event emphasized the need for community involvement in security.
A secure environment will be first necessary step for anybody who wants to create a conducive environment, not only for business, even for people to live. And that's why his vision is focused on a place to live, a place to work, and a place to enjoy life. So that's the kind of homeland that he envisions from the Anambra.
Former Anambra State Governor and presidential candidate Peter Obi, who was present at the event, also shared his thoughts on the issue as the League of Anambra Professionals pledged to support ongoing security initiatives and collaborate with the government in restoring peace and stability to the state.
The country should take issue of security serious. It is a critical component of development that you must secure your country. In fact, if you fail in area of security, you're a failed nation. So the country as a whole, both at national, subnational, and local government level, should take issue of security serious.
It's security for everybody. You know, see something, say something, like the slogan on national level. It is not something you leave to any particular individual, any than the state. There has to be a collaborative effort.
As insecurity continues to threaten lives and livelihoods, discussions like these serve as a reminder that security is not just the responsibility of the government, but of every stakeholder in society. In Lagos for News Central, I'm Bernard Akede.
Now, after spending several years in captivity, 75 hostages have been handed over to Borno State Government at the Maimalari Military Cantonment. The individuals were held by insurgents for years in various hideouts across the country. News Central's Umaru Kirawa reports.
Efforts are continuing to enforce and maintain peace in the Lake Chad region. As part of the effort, these rescued individuals, largely women and children, smile as they regain their freedom after enduring years in captivity with terrorists in Sambisa forest. The Borno State Government happily received the rescued persons, committing to supporting them and facilitating their reunion with family members.
As part of our ongoing clearance efforts, troops from 21 Special Armor Brigade and 199 Special Forces Battalion recently conducted successful offensive operations under Operation Desert Sanity 4 in the Sambisa forest. Key terrorist enclaves in Ukuba, Ijimia, Sabi Huba, Garin Fallujah, and Gobara were cleared, leading to the rescue of 75 civilians, including 7 adult males, 34 women, and 34 children.
The military used the opportunity to call on marauding terrorists to surrender or pay the supreme price for their actions.
This concept of handing over rescued women and children and giving them proper care is quite laudable. We will continue to sustain this, and we urge our dear brothers and sisters that are still in the bush to do us or do the country the favor on understanding that peace is inevitable. We are going to provide them with services. We provide services like livelihood support. We provide services like counseling services, mental health and psychosocial support, livelihood program for the women, and also educational services for the children, so that we enroll them back to school when they go back to their communities.
Other families with loved ones still in captivity remain hopeful as the armed forces have pledged to sustain efforts to rescue them and ensure peace throughout the Lake Chad region. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
International human rights activists in Abuja are calling on the Borno State Government to grant clemency to Sunday Jackson, a farmer sentenced to death by hanging after Nigeria's Supreme Court upheld his murder conviction for killing a herdsman in self-defense. The activists have described the ruling as a miscarriage of justice, arguing that Jackson was provoked by the herdsman who attempted to take his life. Activist William Devlin and lawyer Emmanuel Ogebe, while leading the call for clemency, are also urging well-meaning Nigerians to speak out against the March 7th Supreme Court decision. They say despite Jackson being attacked on his farm by a Fulani herdsman wielding a knife, which led to a scuffle where Jackson overpowered the herdsman, seizing the knife and fatally stabbing him after sustaining injuries to his legs during the assault. The court ruled that Jackson should have fled the scene after disarming his assailant instead of retaliating.
Sunday Jackson was defending himself. Now, as of the Supreme Court mentioned or said their decree on the 7th of March 2025, that this young man who's already been on death row 10 years, will be hanged by the neck. This is a miscarriage of justice. We are advocating for the immediate release of Sunday Jackson, and we hope that the governor of Adamawa State will issue that clemency decree.
The sad thing is, if you look at the judgment, you will find that there were only 3 witnesses in the case: the medical examiner, the police investigator, and Jackson himself. Only 3 witnesses, and it took 7 years for them to try him. He took his hoe to the farm and was attacked by a knife-wielding individual. In the process of trying to defend himself and protect his life, that person sustained injury, he sustained injury, and the other person died. Now he's being sentenced to death for that. Let me make something abundantly clear. The Fulani headsman started to kill Sunday Jackson in 2015, and the Nigerian government is finishing the murder attempt that began 10 years ago.
In a bid to ensure a secure learning environment, in schools in Kano State, the Nigerian Police Force and the Kano State Government have unveiled the Kano State Schools Protection Squad. The Commissioner of Police in charge of the Safe Schools program at the force headquarters in Abuja, Abayomi Shogunle, says that the squad comprises personnel from all security agencies in the state and will be deployed to all schools, including tertiary institutions, to ensure the protection of students and eliminate any form of crime within schools. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
Leave your books and move your dear life first. Are you getting me? Yes, ma'am.
Since the Chibok school abduction in 2014, several initiatives have been introduced by both states and the federal government to ensure the protection of school children, especially in the northern part of the country. At this strategic knowledge sharing session between top security agencies in Kano State, security experts brainstorm on the best approach to ensure the safety of students in the state.
To strengthen security resilience and integrate host communities into the security architecture in the protection of education, to enhance the capacity of the school community to protect education, to create an effective and efficient national school security and emergency response infrastructure. 4, to enhance the capacity of security agencies to gather intelligence, prevent, and respond to attacks on educational institutions. And 5, to provide assistance to survivors of attacks on educational institutions.
We know that the definition of terrorism is contentious, but 2 things stand out. That is violence for political purpose. And as long as we want to keep our children in school, terrorists out there who want to score cheap goals by trying to embarrass the government for political purposes.
The session themed Strengthening Security Resilience and Integration of Host Communities in the Protection of Education. The forum unveiled the School Protection Squad, a strategic theme meant to be responsible for the protection of schools.
Ensuring school safety is not just the responsibility of government. It requires a collective effort from all stakeholders, including parents, teachers, and the wider community. We must work together to identify potential security threats and develop strategies to mitigate them.
The police said that it will replicate the same initiative in all states in the northwestern part of the country. In Kano for News Central, Emmanuel Bagudu.
24 hours, houses and 16 local granaries have been set ablaze following clashes in a community between Warren Hausa and Fulani settlements in the Gidana Ruwa Fulani community in Taura local government area of Jigawa State. This is coming barely after 3 people were killed in another clash by the same tribes in Miga local government area of the state 3 weeks ago. The state police public relations officer Shiisu Adam, while confirming the incident to newsmen in the capital Dutse, says that the police has arrested 5 suspects in connection with the crisis after a raid of the area. Adam says that the attack was carried out by youths from Zangon Maje village who were allegedly seeking revenge after 2 youths in the area were beaten with their motorbikes snatched. They then descended on any available settlements in sight, setting fire to houses and granaries. He says the police is currently on top of the situation and has restored normalcy to the area after intensifying patrols to prevent further breach of peace. News Central's correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu joins us live to give us an update of the situation. Now, Emmanuel, what can you tell us about this clash and the current situation?
Yeah, thank you so much. Good morning from Kano. Of course, the clash is becoming embarrassing, of course, to the state government and, of course, the Northwest. It's something that is preventable. It's a reprisal. You know, a similar incident happened a few weeks ago, you know, where that led to the killing of at least 9 people, and sometimes in January, as in Miga local government. And this time around again, we're still having to see Fulani, people and the Hausa people still clash in a very, very, frivolous reasons, which is very, very unfortunate. But thank God the security operatives have swiftly responded to that and have made some arrests. Now, what is very important to state that here is that Jigawa State, must look at this issue, we must take the issue very serious, because this is happening just within the first quarter of the year. We're having this kind of destruction of lives and property within the first quarter of the year, and that is not really good for the state. The Fulanis and the Hausas have always had a very, very significant symbiotic relationship for a very long time now. Talking about the booming in the livestock industry, the beef market, and of course, herding and all of that. So it's very, 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 bad to see that this kind of thing is happening in a state like Jigawa. The one that happened in Miga was very frivolous. A full animal was allegedly, accused of going to a Hausa man's shop to steal hibiscus. That's talking about Zobo. Before he was being detained by community members, and before there was an appraiser. Same thing happened, on Sunday. Similar thing happened on Sunday. Hausa guys, capture some Fulani guys, collect their bikes and allegedly, before there's an appraiser. So these are things. It's not something that is not controllable. These are things that already that would already know the pattern. So that is very, very important to take care of. Just like I said, Fulani and the Hausas have always had very, very good economic relationships, and that any issue that comes between them is not new and can be controlled. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Bagudu, for that update, and we'll continue to monitor the situation in Jigawa State. Thank you. You're watching news now, News Central Television. Coming up on the news, Mpox hits Tanzania. Tanzania confirms first 2 cases of Mpox outbreak. We'll tell you more about this after the break. Do join us again. You're welcome back. Tanzania has reported its first 2 cases of Mpox, marking the first detection of the virus in an outbreak that has spread across several African countries. The health ministry confirmed that 2 individuals showing symptoms were placed in isolation and tested on Sunday. One of the infected individuals is a truck driver who recently traveled from a neighboring country to Dar es Salaam. According to a report by the African Union's Health Agency last week, 6,034 Mpox cases have been confirmed across 22 countries since January, resulting in 25 deaths. Mpox, a virus related to smallpox, spreads through close physical contact between humans. United States Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reveals plans to discuss acquiring cryptocurrency for a national strategic reserve, starting with Bitcoin. Speaking to CNBC ahead of a White House meeting with industry leaders, Bessent stated that seized crypto assets will be the first to enter the reserve, with further acquisitions under consideration. He emphasized that while Bitcoin is the initial focus, the initiative aims to establish a broader cryptocurrency reserve. The move signals the Trump government's growing recognition of digital assets and financial strategy in national reserves. But what impact could this have on African economies whose youthful population have a growing adoption of digital assets? Now, join us this morning to speak in this. We are joined by CEO Alpha Gig Technologies blockchain and digital assets innovator, Seun Dania. Well, welcome to you, Seun Dania. Thanks for joining us on the news.
Good morning, Benga. It's a pleasure to be here.
Seun, the U.S. is considering adding Bitcoin to a strategic reserve. What does this signal for the global financial system, and how could this impact African economies?
I'm extremely excited about this news, because this is no longer it's no longer a story. It's no longer whispers on Wall Street. It's no longer discussions within different forums about what Bitcoin is, if Bitcoin is. This is the U.S. government saying, hey guys, crypto is no longer a toy. This is a weapon, in the global financial game. Basically, so imagine Bitcoin sitting next to, gold, sitting next to other, reserves that the U.S. government is currently using, which is basically gold, the U.S. vault. So it's basically taking a jab at inflation. It's a big sign that's telling today that we are the boss. The U.S. government understands what the global financial game is about, and now they've seen the significance of Bitcoin in everything, and they want to ensure that they are on top. Let's not forget that the U.S. is still one of the biggest country where mining activities are going on, while other people are clamping down on Bitcoin mining because they understand what the power is about. So they're telling everybody, they're telling all the governments, telling the whole world that, see, crypto is legit, and we need to get all the banks involved, we need to get all the hedge funds involved, and everybody. This is no longer sitting on the sidelines and watching. Now let's zoom into our own continent, Africa. It's not without the fact that Nigeria is one of the biggest adopters of blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies across the world. Nigeria is already the king of crypto. So I believe that, people are already stacking Bitcoin, people who have been dealing and trading in Bitcoin. Basically Nigerians trade Bitcoin all day, every day. Our volumes are huge,
But the government
for us is that this is.
But the government in Nigeria seems adamant to adopt this technology. The regulators seem to be scared of it. How do we overcome this and make it mainstream?
Pretty much, I think the government has been, the current administration has been warming up to it. Let's not forget that they've taken out that embargo on the financial institutions for providing, but they put out some rules. They've also, the SEC is currently, they currently set up a framework, and there's the current regulatory incubator that is ongoing for digital currency projects. However, it is slow, and I can understand that because it's because of the technical gap, the knowledge gap for the regulators and the mainstream. So I think what the government needs to do right now, in the last UNGA General Assembly, there was a side session where the IMF and the IOSCO, they were talking about how governments need to adopt and need to regulate cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology as soon as possible. Now, what the government needs to do is, they can't do it on their own, because we know that there's that knowledge gap. They need to call the industry stakeholders, they need to sit down, set up councils, set up committees, work with the central banks, work with the Ministry of Finance, work directly with the presidency, have our own Bitcoin reserve strategy, have our own blockchain plan, roll it out. I know NITIL already come up with something back in the day, but this is now where we need to, because the fact that the US government is coming out to adopt this fully, other governments are going to, follow suit. And it is important that Nigeria, being one of the major adopters, we also need to change that position to be the architects of this technology, because we have the knowledge, we have the young workforce, we have the young tech-savvy people. This is the time for us to, also make sure that we have a seat on that table when we're discussing global financial power, and as it relates to cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in a nutshell.
Thank you very much, Sean Daniel, for your valuable insights as always. We do appreciate it. Thank you. In sports, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will begin their training camp in Kigali, Rwanda on March 16th ahead of the crucial FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda and Zimbabwe. Head coach Eric Chell is set to announce the final squad this week with possible surprise inclusions. Last week, he released a provisional 39-man squad featuring some new invitees. Nigeria currently 5th in the group with 3 points from 4 matches, will face Rwanda on March the 21st before hosting Zimbabwe on March the 25th at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo at 5 p.m. Both matches must-win encounters for the 3-time African champions as they seek to revive their qualification hopes. Former Super Eagles invitee Ojo Olorunleke has signed a short-term deal with Ethiopian Premier League side Wallo Adirgat University, aiming to help them avoid relegation. The 29-year-old goalkeeper, who was a free agent after leaving Sudan's Al-Merrikh SC, has received his international clearance and work permit, allowing him to join the struggling team immediately. Wallo sits bottom of the league with just 9 points from 19 matches and have conceded 24 goals. Coach Sagaye Kidera Mariam believes Ojo's experience will boost their survival hopes. After his unveiling, Ojo expressed his excitement and commitment to the club, stating that he's motivated to contribute to their fight for safety. And junior athletes identified through the National Youth Games will participate in the 22nd National Sports Festival, NSF Gateway Games 2025 in Ogun State this May. This initiative by the National Sports Commission aims to provide mentorship by allowing young talents to train and compete alongside elite athletes from across Nigeria. The move is expected to transform talent development by offering juniors first-hand exposure to top-level competition. Experts believe this step will strengthen the nation's sports pipeline and improve long-term athlete development. As the festival approaches, attention will be on these junior athletes whose performances will indicate the success of this mentorship-driven strategy in shaping the future of Nigerian sports. And that's all on the news at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Rivers State Government has kicked against calls by APC faction for Governor Fubara's resignation or impeachment. The Nigerian Army has rescued 75 civilians from Sambisa Forest. And we also told you that Tanzania has confirmed the first 2 cases of Mpox. Do send your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Remember to follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV channel 42, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Benga Aboroa.